It would go in the top of the hole.
That's what our board thinks anyway.
Come down.
That's what
That's why we pay you.
The shell.
But they're right.
They are right.
Back where the tail, there's a V.
They are right.
They grab all the tail and pull that.
Did you get Pete?
Bob pulling in?
I don't know. Or is it Rippy?
It could be Rick. I didn't think. I'll give him a second.
That black, yeah,
Bet
that's
it's
probably
Rippy.
Rippy.
Yeah.
That black truck.
Did you get Peter?
Thank you for reminding me. I told him I'd call him. I better call him.
Hopefully you can take a call.
I was telling Parker about my grandpa feeling for turtles.
Yeah.
You got a copy, Pete?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
How's the duck hunting?
Pretty good. Pretty good. It's pretty warm up here.
Yeah, I think that's getting ready to change, at least around here, starting tomorrow.
Yeah, cooling off here right now. As we speak.
Hi, brother.
Mr. Rippy.
Well, everybody's here except Lori. She was unavailable on business trip, I think, to Mexico. So we got the rest of the gang and no visitors in the room, Pete.
Okay.
We ready? Let's go ahead and call the October 6th, 2025 Tipton Utility Service Board meeting to order. The first item on the agenda, the minutes from the last meeting.
Motion that we approve the minutes from last meeting.
And I'll second them.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll move to claims now.
Make a motion, we pay claims 26993 through 27063 for $927,349.84.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to pay claims as submitted. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. I believe that puts us up to you, Jim.
First meeting of the month, we go through financials, and we're talking about the August 2025 financials I sent out last week. Nothing remarkable or unremarkable about it. Still plugging away, and things are steady on the cash balances, but be glad to take any questions. Okay, moving on. No resolutions tonight, but I did want to give you a heads up that next meeting will be our annual resolutions for wage adjustments and for TMU employees, as well as elected and appointed officials. And as I understand, a week from tonight, the city is going to vote on 2.5%. We typically follow the city's lead, and I reached out to my friend in Frankfurt just to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. He said they haven't started their process yet, but that's right in line with what they're currently talking about. So that's probably what I'll come to the board in 2 weeks with that recommendation.
You're also going to look at the 401k at the same time.
Yes, and I'll have a resolution. Talk to Don and Mark a little bit about, we held off on the retirement until we knew where our health insurance was going to fall out, and it shook out really nicely for us. In fact, we had a minor decrease in the premium that the city utilities covering for health insurance. So it's going to be my recommendation. I'll put it in the form of a resolution that we bump our 457 plan employer match from 4% to 5% maximum. And we have 29 out of 31 employees participating in the plan. Currently, there's only 2 or 3 that are even below the 4%. Some are right at 4%. So if we approve the 5%, I'll be sure to encourage everybody to, try to get that up there to at least 5%. So you're not missing out on
Do it now.
Yeah.
Very good.
Amen.
Yeah. And this goes in conjunction with discussions we've had in the last year about perf and other things. I feel like we want to control our own destiny, so to speak, and this is one way to do it. And if something happens and funds get really tight, we can make adjustments where otherwise we wouldn't be able to do that if we signed up for a full-on perf, so. Yep.
Agreed.
So those will come out sometime next week. You'll have copies to drafts to review. A few other matters. We did have some safety training last week on live line tool care. It was really interesting. I don't think I attended that one last year, but good presentation on what the guys use when they're working around live wires and live lines, whether it's rubber gloves and protection that way to big poles. Sometimes a squirrel get in line and it'll open a closer, and they have to reach up with a fiberglass pole and put that thing back in service. And just really interesting. Dick, you probably had been around some of that.
Draw an arc.
Yeah. So
Yeah. It sounds about like that too. We're picking up a big load.
Another financial matter, I wanted to make sure the full board was aware that had talked to Don and I think Mark about, it's been 10 years since we've reviewed our wastewater rates, and it's been 7 years, I think, on our drinking water rates here in the city. So I've asked Crone and Associates to do a study for us just to see where we're at, and especially on wastewater, because I could very easily come up with a couple $1 million worth of capital projects that we need to do on 50-year-old equipment. The big round clarifiers they're beyond their useful life, and they're still doing fine, but I'd rather get on board with
Before they go down.
Yeah, we don't want to be in a situation. So Crone is in the process of reviewing our financials for city water and city wastewater. And I think the goal is that they come to this board sometime in November and present some results, make some recommendations. I will tell you that just their initial review, they said we are in a really good position with our cash balances, and we're at a good starting point, even if we have to do something in the next year or two. So that's out there ways. Don, Mark, do you have anything else to mention there?
No, not really. It's been long enough, but sorry, Mark, between rate adjustments that it's time to at least explore what our decision might be down the road sooner than later.
And also with the consolidation of the west plant, that flow coming into the east plant.
Mhm.
Yep.
But,
Yep.
there probably needs to be a rate for that west affluent to come into.
Gotcha.
So the city utility users don't have to supplement.
Do it early so you don't have to hit them too hard. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
Speaking of rates, I went to the IMPA board meeting last week or a couple weeks ago, and I shared with you what their intentions are for Tipton Utilities is a 2.76% rate increase estimated in 2026. So they do that every year. They come up with, based on what they know, what they think they know, what they anticipate, and they make an adjustment, and that flows through our tracker. So we don't have to go through city council and have a rate increase or decrease as it was last year. And that works through our tracker. And then as they get through about the midway point of the year, June, July of next year, they'll evaluate, well, did we get it right, or were we extremely off one way or the other? Was there some geopolitical events that have caused natural gas prices to go through the roof or something of that nature? So what I shared with you graphically was what the investor-owned utilities like Duke and NIPSCO and Vectren, they're all up around anywhere from 12.5% to 27% increase.
NIPSCO is one of the highest in the state now, and they got 27.5%.
And we're talking about 2.76. I mean, it's just, it's incredible.
It's still an increase though, but NIPSCO just got approved for a secondary, do you know anything about that? For their data center.
Okay, another plant or?
Well, not a plant, it's more of a unregulated. They're able to take that 90 through the IURC, that unregulated peak, so they can.
And that was mentioned at the IMPA board meeting that they're setting up I call it a shell company. They're going to run it through that, and then that company's owned by NIPSCO, some way they're dealing with that same situation. Yeah.
That's just to supply the data center.
Supply and pass along the cost of additional power costs, so the
Ratepayers aren't.
ratepayers
Yeah.
Yeah.
pay for their additional costs.
Okay, I got you,
really
yeah.
don't understand it, though.
Well, then I also shared an article with you about Governor Braun is not happy with all these rate increases. Well, he appoints the IURC board, and he's getting ready to make some changes to that board, and perhaps the acceleration of rate increases will slow down a little bit, but we'll see. And again, that doesn't affect our base rate. If we ever have to adjust our base rate, which we did 2 years ago, first time in 20 years, that would be a different conversation. That would involve city council and et cetera, but nothing on the horizon there. Just a few project updates. We're continuing to work on our backwash pump out at the West Plant. Hope to have that installed and up and running here by the end of October. The work continues over on East Street by Park 100. Most of the utility work's done. Now they're down to asphalt work, and last I had heard that into October they hope to have that done, and they really have to have it done by Thanksgiving. That's typically when the asphalt plants close for the winter, and don't want to leave that street unpaved. A couple other items I wanted to bring to your attention. So you guys may have read in the newspaper or been hearing about Doctors Park, which is the 3 buildings across from the fairgrounds. So the Tipton County owns that ground and owns those buildings, and they rented out one building, I believe it's Dr. Harper's old building, to the daycare a couple years ago. Well, through use, the daycare oversupplied the septic system. So it caused a leachate problem of a full story was in last week's Tribune, but a lot of issues and items involved, and the county is handling this, and what they're wanting to do is probably have to put a small lift station to take that flow off the daycare building and then pipe it to Tipton Utilities. And we're doing our part to assist and evaluate and help the county get through that. Matt Smith has been hired by the county at Strand to design a system, and it's just been a real challenge for the folks at the health department and the county, and they're doing everything they can to resolve the situation, and we're helping. So
That's a situation they wouldn't watch them pumping that sucker on a timely basis.
yeah. Well, now they have to pump every couple of days. They use a lot of water in that daycare.
Yeah, they
That
just didn't
ends up in the
they didn't
septic.
do it annually like they should.
Yeah, you're probably right. So that's going on. And then
That's going to be a county-led project.
it is a county-led
Overall, though,
project.
correct?
and-
Okay.
But we're on call
Right.
anytime they need something. Our guys have met out. They're trying to figure out, what happened back in the 1980s when the nursing home had a system, and then they pumped in. Is it possible their system's leaking and causing some of the issues? So they're evaluating all different things, and we're helping.
We're also thinking ahead if we ever annex anything else.
Yeah.
Like the Maxi edition
Yep.
is on septics right now.
And our drinking water.
We supply drinking water.
Mhm,
Yes.
correct.
So if we ever have to take their
Yes.
septics,
It
the
would be.
system be big enough to handle that.
Yeah, we'd have to develop a whole system to collect their sanitary and get it to us, but those thoughts are going through our head, but we're not ready to initiate anything at this point. And the same could be said for Doverview and
Right.
Cicero Heights, and I think Leininger Acres might pop up here in the next few weeks or months. Maybe try to encourage those folks to, now that our new lift station's right there ready to accept sewage, that would be a possibility, but they're not even annexed at this point, but they could be, if they would be agreeable.
Seems like making sure if we're going to do a project out there that we're sized correctly to be able to accept later on whatever comes our way. Yeah.
I think, right now we're just trying to solve the daycare situation. We're not trying to
Yeah.
think beyond that.
Understand, but they
Yeah.
wanna spend $1 million or whatever.
No, I think it's
And
hopefully less than 100,000 is what the county's gonna, hopefully. They haven't finalized their game plan yet. And then, I wanted to point out that Tipton County is soon to receive Ready Grant 2.0, and they're in line, the county is in line to receive $3 million. And they've went through the process with the county commissioners, the county council, and the RDC to get that approved. And what I'm hearing and what I've been asked to evaluate is infrastructure needs out on 560. So it could come up sooner than later that they need utility services to the property, what used to be the old Stroop property, 60 acres just north of the water plant. I mean, we're right there within hundreds of feet of having utilities right there. Could be the old Campbell property we've talked about for 3 years at the southeast quadrant. Anyway, the county will make the determination on where to invest those dollars, and the county will make the local match. I don't think we should be participating in any way on that, but I just wanted to give the board a heads up that at some point next month, next year, we could be asked, hey, we want to invest in getting utilities to this place out along 560 or otherwise. So it's a great, I think that, just like the Ready Grant we received a couple years ago, when the state and the federal money is flowing, it's nice to be able to get a hold of some of that. And this is all part of that 6-county region thing that we went through a few years ago. So I don't know if you've heard or seen any more about that, but probably be coming up soon, hopefully. Speaking out west, there's really no new news with our tenant in the factory or the Campbell property for that matter. And then the interlocal agreement that the county had sent a draft to us a month, maybe 6 weeks ago. Our attorney has got a response ready. I would expect that to go back to the county sometime this week. And then it'll be their turn to say yay, nay, or let's have a discussion. We'll see where it goes. You know how that works. So, anything you'd add to that, Don?
No, that's the update.
Peter, anything you would add to that?
No, I think that's spot on. So.
Okay. Just a reminder, we'll meet here again in 2 weeks at 4:30. I think that's all I have on my report.
Meeting on my birthday.
Right. Bring the cupcakes, right? We'll bring the cupcakes, right?
Okay. Be 90 years old.
Anything else from the board? Comments, concerns, questions? Councilman Rippey? Okay, got a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, Dick.
See you, Peter.
Yep.
That's very good.
See a little bit of changes here and there.
Oh, yeah,